Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Soul of Business with Blaine Bartlett. I am your host, Blaine Bartlett. Folks, I'm excited about this show today, and I'm excited because I've been pre-interviewing our guest for the last literally 15 minutes, and I was kind of chuffed a little bit and chagrined that I wasn't recording. These are outtakes. Because this material was so unbelievably rich. So we're going to find a way to actually kind of duplicate this a little bit. My guest today is a fellow by the name of Chuck Hogan, and Chuck has been around a while. And I say not around a while, not to date him chronologically, but to date him in terms of experience. There is a richness to what he's bringing to the table here. He's the managing partner in an organization called Your Best Life. And that is not a marketing ploy. That is exactly how he lives his life. And the organization that he manages is one of the managing partners. That is their mission in life. Yeah, how do you live your best life? He's got a background in personal development. He's got a background in living life fully. He was with Tony Robbins for almost 24 years, I believe. A senior player in that Tony Robbins environment. And I'm not going to go into the CV. He's done all kinds of things in that domain. But more than anything else, he brings an orientation around the value and the leverage potential of relationship. And when I say relationship, it kind of lands softly. Everything is relationship. I don't care how you slice the dice. Everything is relationship. And the quality of your relationships informs the quality of your life. Period. The bloody end. That is the way it works. So we're going to just kind of unbundle some things here and see where we end up. Chuck, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Blaine. It's such a pleasure to be here with you.
Literally, the pleasure is mine. I love this term. The English language is really interesting. I saw something the other day. Yeah, in Shakespeare's time, the average person had a vocabulary of about 54,000 words. Mm-hmm. Today, the average American has access to a vocabulary of about 4,000 to 5,000 words.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, what happened? The richness of language informs so many things, and I'm talking about this because language both reflects, but it also creates reality.
Absolutely.
And there's a notion around your best life that I think comes into play here when we're looking at how do we reference our life, both physically. When I talk about my life, I talk about how's it going, that sort of stuff. But the internal conversation I hold with myself at 3:00 in the morning about my life.
Yes.
Where do I go with that in terms of a best life?
I would say there's a couple different facets. Your best life is really a manifestation about thriving in life and not surviving life. And I apologize. Apparently,
that's great. I love puppy dogs.
So here's what's interesting, Blaine, is that we're dealing in a world right now where mediocrity has become the litmus standard for the way a lot of people are living. And the challenge becomes is that when we're aspiring, because I don't believe you try anything. You don't try and move a chair. You don't try to shift in your life. You either do or you don't. You make a decision, you commit to it, or you don't. So part of this comes down to what does it take to shift you? Where does your awareness go? And you and I were talking pre-show about manifestation and where does someone live in relation to their awareness and what does it take to shift I'll say the reticular activating system. So if I'm speaking with you, I'm going to go, am I here or am I listening to Coda? And it's like, no, I'm here. And there's a reason for that. That is, we get to decide where we're placing our energy and intention. And part of this comes down to at 3 a.m., you're in an altered state. So as the myelin layers of your brain are detoxifying and you're actually releasing out any kind of neurotoxins that are within your cerebellum, that you're going, okay, am I dreaming or is this reality? And the answer is yes.
That is the answer.
You're speaking in tongues. And I said, No, lad, I'm not speaking in tongues. I'm speaking the truth. And here's the difference. We don't know what's real or perceived. And so when we can live in this manifestation of, okay, what are the possibilities? Because we're all, as entrepreneurs, as all business people, as all, I will say, bastions of hope and possibility, we are looking how to make progress. How do we elevate and go to the next level of progress? I go, that's beautiful. There's a challenge though. If you don't feel like you have any possibilities, then that glass ceiling comes right here and your progress gets halted. This is what you and I were discussing. You're living a life of balance. You're in stasis. You're cathartic and catatonic at the same time. It's like going, wait, what? Like, because you can't measure this. It's not moving. And if it is, like you're straddling both sides of the line and going, okay, I don't want to lose, but and I'm also fearful of winning.
Yep.
Wait, what? Like you can have a psychology that is, you're afraid, you have a fear, a false expectation appearing real around winning. You don't want to be like Charlie Sheen, like winning. And it's like, okay, then what is it that you need? And you brought this up, Blaine, so I'm going to cap my response by saying this. The quality of your life is in direct proportion to how you feel.
Yep.
That's it.
It is.
And I'm going to ask you a question, if I may, kind sir.
Yes.
How do you respond if someone asks you how you're doing?
I actually look at how am I being in the moment that they ask me the question about how I'm doing.
See, this, I love you. You're so introspective because I apologize. It was kind of a bait because here's the truth. I stopped asking people how they're doing. I asked them how they're feeling. Because in the very question that we're asking, when I ask someone how they're doing, that's a cognitive response. Yep. I'm literally asking them all the doings. And you'll get a meta report. You'll get a laundry list. You will get like on every single sheet of 1,000, 1,000 sheet roll of toilet paper, they could write a different response.
Yes.
If I ask someone how they're feeling, it cuts through the clutter. It cuts through this filter and goes right to the core, to this heart space where you're like going, oh, they are how they feel. So if they say frustrated,
well, optimistic. Yeah. So there's an emotional state that kind of gets positioned, and most of us have a default emotional state. I mean, Joe Dispenza is a good friend. I've known Joe for a while, and all of his work is organized around vibrational frequency. We manifest a reality, and it's a felt state that manifests itself in a physical reality. Yeah. So, when we were talking earlier, you made a comment that I went, whoa, hadn't thought about it in quite that way. You connected some dots here. And because I spent a lot of time working with executives around their mindset, leadership mindset. I mean, all of that sort of stuff. The point that you made was mindset is a consequence of heart set. And your heart set determines your mindset. And where I went to with that was literally wasn't, of course, because I know through the studies that I've done with heart math and the work that and I know the founders there, really well. And I use heart math in my coaching work with my clients. The heart speaks more to the brain than the brain does to the heart. So, and there's
a reason for it. It's physiological.
There's a reason for it. Exactly. I know there's a question that I'm going to here, but in your work, and the work with the organization Your Best Life, expand a little bit, if you would, about how you shift mindset by working with heart set.
Oh, it's very simple. So I'll put it in physiological terms first, biological.
Yes.
Your brain does not have any of the molecules that constitute the heart muscle. They don't. But your heart actually has 35 to 45,000 specialized cells called sensory neurites. Right? So we know this from heart math. That actually are the same genetic makeup material as the layers that are in your brain. And it's like, wait, what? it's like, so this is one of the reasons why when we say, oh, I have a heavy heart. And it's not like you're going, my heart just gained weight all of a sudden and became enlarged. It's
Uh-huh.
pumping more blood. You're like, no, it's an emotional matrix that actually can process logically the same way the brain does. It's the same thing when we say we have a heavy heart or a sad heart or a light heart. I'm feeling elevated. I'm feeling inspired. It's like, oh, I have a full heart. And it's like, oh, okay, that's better than an empty heart. And so I go there and I started understanding something, Blaine, and it was really simple. I said, why? Why do we have a need to justify a course of action, an SOP, so a
Mhm.
standard operating procedure, job descriptions, KPIs, whatever we're measuring? I said, because the brain requires input. It's all it requires.
Uh-huh.
It does not process positive or negative. That's a feeling response. Whether we feel good about something or poorly about something, we have chemical receptors. They receive in biochemical, reactants, and they take them in and we process. So if it's dopamine, adrenaline, whatever the case might be. I said, okay, so let's back up for a moment. Why do we do what we do? And I was like, it's real simple. Let's look at a baby. They do what they do because they feel a certain way. They cry because they're either upset, frustrated, or sad. Okay. They coo and laugh and giggle because they're happy and elated and engaged and joyous. It really is that simple. So we are doing things for one of two reasons, pain and pleasure. That's the brass tacks of it. And the modalities, to your point, the English language. Oh, I'm feeling so, aggravated. I'm being feeling perplexed. Oh, I'm in a state of constant procrastination. I go, no, you're just avoiding stuff. And they're like, oh, what are you afraid of? I'm not afraid of anything. Well, your very curt response to me tells me differently. And they go, oh, I just need to shift my mindset. And I go, and how will that make you feel?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, the circle, the pendulum, when it swings the one way, it comes right back to the center, which is your emotional matrix. And there are no such thing as positive or negative emotions. They
Nope.
all serve at a level, at
Yep.
some level. And this is where I love Tony because, he's unknowingly or maybe knowingly one of my mentors. And I give Mr. Robbins a lot of credit for effective blaming. If I'm going to blame for everything that's challenging me in my world, I get to effectively blame for all the beauty that's in my world.
Exactly.
Because my PhD is real simple. I have a PhD in screw ups. Like, that is my claim to fame. I have messed up. If you don't believe me, when my wife gets home, I'll introduce you. And she'll go, oh,
Okay.
Blaine? Yes, he's good at it. He's really good. And so I share this, though, for this reason. I've also learned that in the emotion of forgiveness, that the ultimate level of freedom that we can give to ourselves and others, and it needs to start in that order of chronology. So if it's respect, love, acknowledgement, freedom, and forgiveness, it starts within you first.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I am the designer. I mean, I'm kind of going back to designing a life, that
Yes.
works here. Yeah. The notion, there's a specific term for this, ontological design. Designing the environment that designs you in return. So there's a reciprocity that, kind of comes into play here.
Yep.
I mean, I designed my office specifically so that it, served the way that I wanted to be served. And that has served me very well. But I also ontologically am designing how I walk through my life. The
Oh,
question of how you doing or how you being. How
yes.
do I, all of that kind of comes into place here. You mentioned the idea of blaming.
Mm.
I'm to blame for the good. I'm to blame for the bad. It's a flip side of the same coin. So the idea of continuously in design, comes into play here. And I don't
Yes.
think a lot of people really appreciate the fact that they are continuously in the process of designing the experience, not just the life, but the experience that they have. And this kind of goes back to the nature of a relationship. My
Yes.
experience of who I am is a function of the relationships that I am actually engaging. So,
And most
how
people
I
get
define me
loose.
is my relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started noticing something, and that was we're all meaning makers.
Yes.
And so in this process of it's never about the event, it's literally about the meaning that we attach to the event. And there it's deeply seated in emotion. It's like we can justify it by actions, chronology, I'll say the perception of intent, but the brain doesn't know what's real or perceived. So if someone's in the room and they go, "Don't look for the elephant," and they're like, "What?" I
Whatever.
said, "Don't
Look for
look."
it. Yeah.
Wait, there's an elephant? They go, "It's Chuck. He might sneak one in the back." And I go, "Okay, whoa, 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 whoa." And I go, "I asked you not to look." And they go, "Well, come on, man." And I said, "So what does that tell me?" I said, "It's very simple. When we take our focus, and where focus goes, energy flows,
Mm-hmm.
the brain is looking for evidence of whatever that statement or fact is." And I go, "So it doesn't attach negative or positive to it. It only attaches elephant." And it's like, okay, so if you are trying to avoid issues, problems, conflict, I go, you know what you're going to get more of? Because your energy and frequency is aimed towards that. So just think like this is your satellite dish, your reticular activating system, and I'm turning towards avoiding these problems. You're going to negate all the possibilities and options and progress that are sitting right over to this side. However, if I go, how do I really need to feel instead? And I dedicate myself each day to picking the top 3 emotions that I wish to experience and be aware of most often.
Yeah.
And here's what's beautiful, Blaine, about this irrespective of the environment, I get to exchange and live in that space and that grace. And it's like going, wow, wow. But it's not enough to just live there for the day. Here's the shift, and this is where it gets really cool. You check in at the end of the day. You ask yourself, how did I feel most often? And what did it mean? What did it mean to feel this way? And you
Mm-hmm.
have it out because you're like going, hey, how do I need to feel tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I actually do this 2.5 minute process every single day. Minute in the morning, minute and a half at night. And I write it down in my journal. And it's been brilliant because now I do this with, again, C-suite executives. And to see their growth and progression and to see where they're going in their world, it's like, woo, this is cool. And they're like going, Chuck, I was less stressed. I had less tension.
Yeah. You know, I've come to this realization. I spent some time in a Zen monastery in Japan years and years and years ago. I sat zazen for hours. And with Buddhist philosophy, the whole epistemology is organized around suffering. Humans, the human condition is one of suffering, and suffering is supposedly,
Yes.
and I'm going to underline that one in just a moment here. Supposedly, a consequence of being attached. It's a consequence of having attachment disorders. Literally disorders. I've been exploring that notion in my journaling and whatnot, and honestly, Chuck, I don't believe it's true. I don't think attachment has anything to do with suffering. I think suffering is a consequence of being disconnected from source, disconnected from spirit.
Yes.
And when I disconnect
Yes.
from spirit, the default play of the mind is to attach to something external to fill that void.
100%.
It looks like attachment, but it's actually separation that has come into play here. I'm separated from the relationship with spirit that gives meaning to who I am. That's the source of suffering as far as I can tell.
Sinning. Well, it is. And here's the reason why. Anytime your focus goes to just you're in a suffering state. And it's due to several reasons. One, you're swimming in a sea of energy. How can you be dying of energetic thirst? And I go, it's simple.
I'm in the
You
ocean and I'm
haven't
drowning.
learned how to open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like going, wait, okay, I don't see 3 fingers going up, but no, it's you're swimming in a sea of energy, and we get scientific about this. Deepak Chopra says that you're made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. We learned this from the very impetus of chemistry 101. It's like this is simple physics. I go, okay, great. So if we're all made of the same stuff, You and I, all living beings, all living organisms, and there's a spirit and there's an energy. I said, it's just a matter of, are you open to feeling the frequencies and the energy that flows with you, to you, around you? It's the very makeup of your biological matrix. It's your genetic predisposition. We can check with CRISPR. There's not much that separates us. And to your point, and thank you for that distinction, it's when we get in such a myopic fear. So we actually go from here to here. And it's like, okay, if I just keep these blinders on and I concentrate and I go, being cut off is a choice.
It is.
It's a choice. And this is where, ironically enough, because people will say, and they probably look at you, Blaine, and go, but Blaine and Chuck, you guys are extroverts. You're so extroverted, it's not even funny. I said, operationally, but if you put me in a room, right, where content's going on, I am an absolute introvert. I am listening. I close this, and these go full tilt. And they go, wait, what? I said, yes, I've learned to, especially when I'm in a like-minded, like-hearted, and cohesive frequency with someone, this is easy conversation. I could do this all day. And on the other side of it, they go, well, is it like this with everyone? I go, mm-mm, mm-mm. And there's a reason.
Yeah.
When you're open, there's a level of trust. Like, I don't even question your integrity. I know who you are. I feel you. We're engaged, connected. When my neurology is triggered and I'm like, oh, why am I processing and trying to be critical, not curious, critical of a languaging I'm hearing? To your point, it's like, because there's some people who are really strategic and you go, oh, that was a really strange engagement. And I go, well, if you play the replay and you look at it, I'm looking at body language, I'm watching all these, unspoken nuances, and I'm like, okay, how are you feeling right there? And I go, you caught that, huh? Yeah, I'd have to be Helen Keller not to catch that. And we've seen this. We've seen this with people on stage where you're like going, whoa, that was an incongruent statement. And there's a difference between it being a mistake and then being misleading, and it's like, ooh, why would they go there? Like this, there's no place for this. And this goes back to the age-old ideology of motive and intention.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard this saying before: no one cares what you have to say until they know how much you care.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So state management, and I'm going to remind people, state management is not a matter of just mental state. It's body, mind, spirit congruency, where you slow down, the vagus nerve connects, and the EEG and the EKG go into sinus rhythm together.
Yep.
It's alignment, right?
It's alignment.
To your point.
Yeah. Yeah. From a leadership perspective, I talk about, the bow wake, because leaders, move through environments. They're always moving, and anything, a boat through water, I don't care what the boat is, they have a bow wake.
Yes.
So most leaders that I work with, at least initially, are not even cognizant of the fact that they, number one, have a bow wake, but number two, what the consequence of their bow wake is. They just know that they move, and they're knocking boats all over the place, or they move so stealthily that nobody. Exactly. Like,
are they like, whoa, okay, you know what? That was great when there was ice, but you're kind of leaving a problem for everybody.
But that kind
speed
of
matters.
That notion of alignment, though, it is. I mean, awareness precedes choice, as far as I can tell. I mean, that's one of the big powers of awareness. Awareness uncovers choices. Choice is what I use to make action in life.
Yes.
But before choice, ideally, there's a decision that's made that's in service of for the sake of what? A worthy ideal. The idea that Earl Nightingale years ago was asked to define what he thought success was, and he came up with this little definition that I love. It's the continual pursuit of a worthy ideal. The continual pursuit of a worthy ideal. Now, who gets to define worthy ideal? I do. I get to define that for myself. So, what's a worthy ideal for me? I know what it was from my parents, and I didn't turn out that way, and that's okay. It's my worthy ideal. So, the continual pursuit of this thing. So, the decisions, I get all kinds of choices in life, all kinds of choices. And where I'm going with this is back to how do I pay attention to the heart, the relationship that I have with Source, the relationship that I have as a business leader, as a human being, as a father, as a son, as a husband, with Source. I got a decision, a worthy ideal. What do I listen to? What do I listen to? The nature of life is evidenced in nature. Nature grows, and all of nature honors the desire to be more, to have more, and to do more. Life thrives when it's allowed to grow. And ideally, thriving is what we also, all of us, want to be able to do. Unfortunately, at some stage in life, most people find themselves settling into what I can only call a rut. And a rut is nothing more than a coffin with the ends kicked out. You want to quickly get out of any rut that you find yourself in. When you stop growing, that's when the coffin starts to appear. The simple truth is this, and this is true for everything in nature. You're going to die. I'm going to die. Every one of us dies. So the question we need to come to grips with is not, are we going to die? The question nature asks us to answer is, are we truly living? That's what motivation is about. It's the desire to move. It's the desire to grow and to excel. Have I lived? How have I lived? I'd love for you to take advantage of my Leadership Mindset Masterclass. It's all about providing you with the tools to ensure thriving for yourself and for those around you. Register today to receive the free introduction video and find out more about this acclaimed program. You'll also receive a copy of my international #1 bestseller, Compassionate Capitalism, A Journey to the Soul of Business. I'm Blaine Bartlett, and I look forward to helping you thrive.
We slow down. The first thing is you have this abject default mechanism when you're born. And it's the moment, not just when you come into this world physically, because you were breathing inside your mother's womb, from the point of conception. And so as your lungs are developing, you're breathing amniotic fluid, you're taking this in, this is where you're getting your nutrients through the umbilical cord. So through proxy, when someone else is breathing in their heartbeat, you are inheriting a certain measure of, I'll say, pre-wiring.
Mm-hmm.
And I will call it genetic predisposition.
Yeah,
so
epigenetically, I'm just getting locked in. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So we've all met people when you go, oh, this child is so calm. And they're like, how could they not be? Have you met their mom?
Yeah.
And it's like, because they were calm during the pregnancy, they did the right things. They meditated, they took care of themselves, they were holistic. And it was beautiful to see that the minute you take a breath into this world, the default mechanism that is part of your core operating system is breathing. See, we get so stuck in the fact that we find these ways of finding what we'll call the 6 human needs. And so there's certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution. And yet so many people forget the 5 essential needs that you need just for life: air, water, food, shelter, and love and connection. Because without love and connection,
all the others are off the map.
There's failure to thrive syndrome. You're gone. You can ask any neonatal nurse, any pediatrician, they'll tell you. The only one that crosses over into both universes is love and connection. And so we have a desire for our energetic flow. So to your point, when suffering occurs, because it's part of our primordial, genetic predisposition, we have a need to feel connected. We have a need to connect. We have a need to share in the celebration and also in the woes.
Yeah.
So to your point, Blaine, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, well, and here's part of the challenge, right? The world has become addicted to hopium. It's a terrible drug.
Oh, it is a horrible drug.
It's more prolific than sugar. And people are like, oh, wait, what? I said, there's this pervasive ideology that if I hope enough, that the universe is going to deliver to me. So they go, oh, some people will mistake hopium with manifestation. And I'm like, no, there's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Hopium is devoid of action. Manifestation is that I'm actively involved in sending energy. Hopium is just, I'm just going to put a huge ask out there and hope that the boomerang of karma and life delivers me this prolific windfall. I go, well, what'd you do to actually engage in this? Did you actually resonate a frequency? Did you actually ask the universe? Are you committed to it? Are you clear in your outcomes and goals, or even the emotional disposition that you need in order to summon this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he says, no. And I go, so I said, give me an example. They said, hope I win the lotto. I'm like, great. Did you buy a ticket? They're like, nope. I said, you're hoping someone's going to buy a ticket for you to win the lotto. I'm like, wow, you really are addicted to hopium.
Yeah. Yeah. My granddad, you can't catch a fish unless your line's in the water.
Hey,
and he was real clear about that.
It's like Nike. Just do it.
Just
do it.
Just do it.
That, right? So I love what we were discussing before we came on live, and that was this concept of fear.
Yeah.
And because the 10 million-year-old monkey brain is like going, hey, there's a saber-toothed tiger, run. And I go, okay, so what are the indicators that there's a saber-toothed tiger? And they go, well, I heard a rustling in the bush. I go, it was a squirrel.
Yeah.
It was a squirrel. And I go, oh, but it could have been a tiger. And I go, well, and monkeys could have fly out of your posterior too. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but yet there's this ideology of, oh, it's a possibility. And I go, wow. So what if, instead of having a false expectation appearing real, FEAR, we actually had faith, everything, and rise, where that our faith in that we are more than our life conditions, that we are not the culmination of just one thing, we are the balance of everything. So you don't have to do the alternative, which is frick everything and run. And this is where some people, they go into hiding. And I go, wow, turn and face your fear, because everything that you need in life is in everything that you're not committed to or doing right now.
Absolutely. We're making it all up. We may as well make up something that works for us. I mean,
just so what's going to what you need. But
if it scares me,
Blaine, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Yes. Yes. So
just say yes.
Why are so many people chasing? Yeah, it's just yes. So why are so many people chasing wants and ignoring their needs?
Yeah, that is a great question.
You know, I mean, because I hear this all the time, and it's part of conditioning as well.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we started with our kids when they were young, they'd watch a commercial, and they go, oh, Daddy, I want those Legos. And I was like, that's great. I go, but you have about 1,500 Legos sitting over there. Oh, but I don't have the Star Wars ones. And I go, I get it. So here's a question. Do you need more Legos? No, but I want them. And I said, I understand. So if you had a choice, and I said, we're going to take away this steamer trunk filled with 1,500 Legos so that you can have the 150 Star Wars Legos, does that feel good to you? And they go, well, why do I have to give up the other ones? And I said, well, because in life, everything that we get, we are going to invest time, energy, intention, money, connection, and focus. I know you, son, and when you're playing with the Star Wars Legos, you probably are going to ignore the 1,500 Legos that you already have. But you know what I know? All your friends love coming over and playing with your Legos. So here's the difference. They have a higher level of appreciation and gratitude for what they already have in playing with you and coming over.
Relationship.
And I said, the relationship with you, sharing and having fun. He goes, I love when they come over and play. I go, great. He goes, we'd have even more fun with the Star Wars Legos. And I said, maybe. He's good. Like he's good.
He's good.
Oh, he's playing me like a fiddle. And so I asked him this question. I said, okay, let's do this then, Cole. I said, the next time one of your friends comes over, you're going to pick out 150 Legos and put them in a bag and gift them to one of your friends. And in return, this is not give to get, I said, and the reciprocity of doing a random act of kindness. And they're not going to be the Legos that you don't want. They're going to be your favorite Legos, by the way.
Yeah.
Then once we do this, we'll see if you really still need the other Lego. And you know what was brilliant? He goes, okay. And he went in, and it was like, you could see him. He was like deep sigh. Okay. It was like, and I was like, don't you feel good? And he goes, I do. And he goes, and I feel really weird right now. I said, and I go, well, why is that? He goes, because I remember when you gave these to me. I remember when you and Mommy gifted these to me.
Hello.
And he goes, I feel like I'm giving up. And I said, well, what if you just celebrate in the experience of when you received them? He got this big smile on his face. He goes, that was a fun day. I go, yeah. It was for like your 5th birthday, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, how old are you now? He goes, 6. And I go, how are those Star Wars Legos looking? He goes, they're not that special. He goes, because I asked for them, and I realized that the ones that you gave me were a gift. And you gave them to me because you love me. And he goes, and we built a lot of cool stuff, Dad. And I said, yep. And when your friends come over, like Jackson comes over and you guys play with this stuff. And he goes, it's the coolest thing ever. He goes, we built cities with this. I go, wow. I said, So to your point, one of the things that's been challenging right now is that we're seeing that there's this conditioning around comparison rather than appreciation and being curious. And it shifts the narrative completely around what if instead of being critical, right, and judging, we could actually just be inquisitive and removing the doubt or the presupposition of, oh, this is right or wrong. I go, because, who made you judge, jury, and executioner?
Do you think? I love that.
And this helps not just in. I'll tell you what. Thank goodness, because it wasn't me. It was from a higher source that this was all coming through me. Because I was at first going, well, okay, what harm does it buy, a 1995 set of Legos? And it wasn't the money.
No,
it wasn't the money.
The idea of generosity. I mean, the generosity has a feeling associated with it, and there is a generosity effect. I mean, it doesn't. Generosity doesn't stay localized. Generosity ripples, and that's when we're looking. Yeah, it's and that story is, Chuck. I thank you so much, and thank your son for being as receptive as he was to the idea of exploring that. Truly, I think that there's a lesson there that is just profound.
You brought up something and it hit me. And so for your listening audience, this is a lesson I had to learn. I'm from Japan originally. So if I look next time, I'm Japanese and Irish. And
interesting mix.
Named after my it's very my wife's Nicaraguan, so my kids are thoroughly confused. Which is brilliant. America's a great place for us. And one of the things I remember is in my youth, and even and quite frankly, if I'm being quite candid, even all the way up into my mid-30s, to this day, I love contributing. I love exchanges like this. And I, by my own admission, I'm a recovering poor receiver of compliments. And it was something that it's deeply rooted, but I will just say I got to a point in my life where I did not value me, and consequently I didn't feel that I was deserving of any kind of adulation or praise. And because as a strong, half Japanese man, I'm supposed to go ahead and strive, as a strong, proud Irishman, I'm supposed to strive to be living at a higher level and always pushing the goalposts. And I go, when do I get to score a touchdown?
Yeah. And
all these people are like going, hey, good play. Hey, great job. Hey, and I'm like, oh, no, thank you. But you know what? You. And then I realized I got called out by a family member. And I'll never forget this. And he said, why are you so selfish? And it was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? I'm like, my whole identity is around giving and contribution and volunteerism. And he goes, you know, I love you, but I got to tell you, you suck at receiving compliments. And I'm like, whoa. And he goes, and I go, in my mind, it wasn't clicking. I said, why is that selfish? I said, I really didn't feel worthy. And he goes, because that's not your choice. Your gift to someone else is giving them the gift of giving. And the only way that happens if you become a humble recipient. And so this completes the cycle, the giving cycle. How dare you take that from someone? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I said, you know, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, I talk about a heavy heart. And then he goes, I'm not saying this to jibe you or to make you feel bad. I'm saying this because you give without condition and ask for nothing in return. And yet when someone tries to give you something in return, you belittle it. And I go, whoa, that is such a strong word. And he goes, I'm calling it as I see it, Chuck. And I gave him a hug and I said, thank you. I said, I couldn't see my own blind spots.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen overnight. I got to tell you, Blaine, it was like, okay. I was looking at other people who were giving at a higher level. And I go, and he goes, yes. And the only time you will feel like a disappointment is when you compare yourself to the level of giving. And I go, but are you being your best self? And this is where I came up with that. You can be doing your best, but never being your best. And I was like, oh my good gosh. He goes, so what's the opposite? And I said, when I'm being my best, I'll always do my best.
Yep. It's
and that became a family motto for us.
And I love that. I can do my best, but not be my best. Folks, I really want you to, we're going to kind of close off with that. Because a lot of you guys that are listening, you are stars. I mean, you're absolute rock stars in your life. You do your best. But the question that Chuck is putting on the table right now is, are you being your best? And that is a $64,000 question. And that statement right there will age me just a little bit. But I want you to consider that. There's I mentioned generosity. Being generous with myself. I've got to be generous with myself if I'm going to be generous with anybody else. So that's...
And I'm going to remind you, you get to. You don't have to. You get to. It's a choice, right? And when we accept it, because when we make something a have to, we're putting conditions on it. I go, but when you get to and you decide, the freedom that comes from that realization is priceless.
Absolutely. Folks, have been talking to Chuck Hogan. I've loved this conversation. Absolutely have loved where we've gone. It's been kind of wide-ranging, and that is a gift. Truly, it is. Check out yourbestlife.com. That's the organization. Where can people get more information from you specifically if they have a question or anything like that? And we'll put this in the show notes.
You know what? Our contact information it's real easy. You can reach me at chuck@yblnow.com.
Okay.
And I give my phone number out to everyone because it's one of those things where I love receiving random engagements with people. I really do. Yeah. My number is 817-751-4037. And the reason why I do that is there's nothing that will ever replace the engagement of hearing someone's voice, the languaging. So much is misconstrued in messages, y'all. I'm just telling you as I see it. Let's not be confused. Let's clarify and verify and be clear in our intentions. And Blaine, I'm so grateful. Thank you for this time. You are a prince. I appreciate you.
Thank you, my friend. We will not have this be the end of our conversation. I can guarantee that. So, folks, you've been listening to The Soul of Business. Chuck Hogan has been the guest today. As always, find a way in your life to be a center of distribution, not a center of accumulation. You'll find your life works a whole lot better when you're working from that platform. Take care, and we'll see you on the next episode.